What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Inferno here, and I'm checking in once again with yet another tutorial. Yes, sir. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys how I create my countdowns after I've already created or designed my master or my main artworks. Countdowns are very simple to create, but they require certain techniques. You have to understand certain things before countdowns become easy for you to create. So without much ado, let's get to work. So this is the countdown we are going to create. It is a very simple countdown, but you have to understand some few things. When it comes to countdowns, we have what we call the days more. Okay, so we have some might be 1 day more, 2 days more, 3 days more, 8 days more. So the key thing is the days more when it comes to countdowns. So your day has to, the number or the value for your date or your day has to be very big, and then the other elements such as the date, the time, the venue, and then the title of the program follow in that particular order. Okay, so I'm going to use this particular order to create my countdown artwork. I'm not going to create anything too serious. Very, very simple, nothing complex here. So please observe. Let's go. Alright, so I already have a tutorial on this particular artwork. I don't know if a worshiper. So if you've not watched this particular tutorial, please fast, go there and then watch this tutorial. When you are done, come back and let's continue. Good. So I've already created my artwork. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my countdown out of this particular artwork. So I'm going to do some few rearrangements to make sure that I'm on track. So the first one is going to be the subject. So I'll just see to it, okay, this is my main subject. Good. So I would hide it. Then I would take my header, okay, header 1, the edition of the program, I don't know if a worshiper 25, and I'll hold shift, right click on this one too, and add this one too as well. Okay, two assets that are very crucial when it comes to the program itself. Okay, and I would select the flag here. Okay, now press Ctrl T on the flag, Ctrl T or Command T on Mac, and then left click and drag from this particular point to scale down the size of the flag and move it to somewhere here like so, and then register action by clicking on this. Okay, right click on this, okay, hold shift, right click on this one too as well, and then click to select both items. Press Command T or Ctrl T on Windows and then scale them down slightly, move them a bit like so, just reposition them basically. Right click on the title, right click on the logo, and then select it. Okay, hold Command or let's say Control on Windows when dragging, okay, to make sure that you have the right thing selected. So in this case, I have two things to select: the name of the artist and the artist logo. So I have to group them and then move them together. Okay, good. So I would undo with Ctrl Z or Command Z on Mac, and I'll hold Command or Control on Windows, and then with the logo already selected, I would click on this, left click to select both of them, press Control or Command on Mac and RG to group them. So they are now grouped. So you can rename them here. I'm going to move them because of time. Now press and hold Command and I would add T. So Control T on Windows, and then left click and drag to reduce the size of the logo like so. Okay, I'd left click and drag from here, and then you see like so, reposition like so, and then register action from here. Double click on the now grouped artist name and logo, and then click on color overlay and then change the color to white. So F, okay, in that particular order. Good. Now go to okay. Okay, so right now we are kind of close to what we want for our countdown. Okay, very good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to aside the days. Okay, some clients want you to include some of the artists that will be present when it comes to the administrations, and my client wanted me to do a countdown like that. So a countdown with the days and then the artist that would be performing, or the musicians that would be performing when during the course of the program. Okay, so I made sure that I followed what I was given. So follow suit. Okay, all right. So I was given this image of this particular artist, this beautiful artist or musician. So I'll just import his image here by left clicking and then dragging him here like so. Hey, I said him here like so. And I'll just convert it to a smart object. I'm converting it to a smart object because I'll be scaling the image up and down. Okay, so the back and forth might result in some pixelation issues, and I don't want that. So for me to avoid pixelation, I have to convert it to a smart object so that I can scale it down without fears of my image pixelating when I'm scaling up. I hope I'm making sense. Good. So Command T on Mac, Control T on Windows to give you the transform bounding box. Left click and drag like so and reposition to this particular point and reduce the size by left clicking and dragging. The transform bounding box is already active, so you just have to left click and drag. Okay, to your right reduces the size, and then to your left does vice versa, does increase. Okay, like so. And yes, so you just have to register action like so. And just as you can see, our logo in there is kind of almost invisible because of the white application, almost closer to it, or even in close proximity to it. So I'm just going to click on it, and then I'll hold Command or Control on Windows and drag to see if I'm dragging that particular item, and I think I was right. Yes, so I'll just press Command T on Mac, Control T on Windows, and then hold Shift, distort it slightly. Okay, Shift, distort it slightly like so. Okay, right click on the title. Okay, fortunately for me, I had everything grouped, so when I right click, I'm just going to get it, then I would see, okay, it has its own layer. So what about this? Let me right click. Okay, they are all separate, so I'm just going to select and try to locate the various items. Okay, these ones are grouped as well, so I'll select them in here, then I would hold Shift, right click, and then select title to select them together. Okay, on the canvas, I'll press Command T or Control T on Windows, and I'll scale it down like so. Okay, very good, to get to where I want to get to at this particular juncture. Okay, very good. So afterwards, I'll just select this. I'll right click on it and I'll select it. Hold Shift, right click, select, click on this to select it in addition to that. Okay, and hold Shift, right click on this and select this also in addition. Okay, and press Command T or Control T on Windows and then increase the sizes. Okay, so I'm just going to increase the sizes together by just left clicking and dragging to my right hand side to just increase the size like so. Get it? Now it mark our register action just like that. Okay, so when you come in here, you see that the flag is kind of bigger than how it currently looks. So I'm just going to right click on it and Command T or Control T on Windows, and I'm going to increase the size. Okay, like so, just that I'm able to achieve what I wanted to achieve in the first place. So I'm going to have it everything set like so. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to right click on this, select title, hold Shift, right click on this. This is the name 4 p.m. to select all those things in there. Then I'm going to move them down here like so. Command T or Control T on Windows, and then remove, scale down its size, and then use Shift plus arrow keys to reposition like so. And then you get it, you register everything. So I hope you are following. It's very, very simple. Good. So just like that, we count down, just as I said earlier. You have to place emphasis more on the dash left. Okay, even when you are directed or you are asked to, or you are briefed to include the ministers or any of the ministers that would be performing during the event. Okay, you have to still make sure that you place emphasis on the dash left, because that is what countdowns are meant for. Okay, very good. So in this case, I just right click on my my subject to select it. So let me rename it artists, okay, like so, okay, it's artist. And then I would click here to create a new layer, press T. After creating a new layer, press T for the type 2 and then register the days, okay. So I think it was 7 days left, so I'm just going to type 07007, okay. All right, so Command A, and then I'm going to register action, Command T or Control T on Mac, and like so. I increase the size of my text like so, okay. All right, so I will just press Command Enter or Control Enter on Windows to turn text layer into editable layer, and then click in between the 7 and then the 0, and then space them out, okay. So I'm going to use Option plus Shift on Mac and then use the right arrow key to kind of space them like so, okay. So yours is Alt Shift, okay, plus the right arrow key on Windows if you're on Windows, okay. Alt Shift plus the right arrow key. You keep down, you press it or you press the key simultaneously to get you to where I've gotten to, okay. So like so, and then I'm just going to register the action from here. So in here you change the blending mode to is it overlay? Yes, overlay like so, and you just double click on the layer and then you go in for inner glow, okay. So inner glow, you have 48 here, and then you have 40, okay, like that, okay, like so. So inner glow, so make sure that you have these values. You have opacity is on 48, and then opacity on 48, and the size, okay, and the element, the size is also 40. So you can screenshot it and then proceed, okay. All right, so just like that we have our effect. So you just have to go to OK, and just like that, boom, everything is intact. So we are not done yet. You see the 7 here happens to be on top of our subject, and the same apply to the 0, okay. So this was how I was able to do it. It is very simple. I just had to select the 7 here, and then I dragged it on top of my subject, my title, so like something like so, okay, like this. And just as you can see, okay, like this, okay, yeah. All right, so yes, so something like this, okay. I saw something that you guys didn't see, so I'll get there very soon. So that is somewhere here. You see in here we have a different effect here as compared to what you are currently seeing. I'm going to fix that very soon. Yes, so you just have to see here the subject is bigger. So what I did was I selected our title, our subject, sorry, Control T or Command T on Mac, and increase the size, okay, good. So increase the size like so, and just like that we are almost there. And all right, so something like this, and afterwards I did some few things, nothing much, okay, nothing much here, okay. I added a gradient map to my image, and then I kind of enhance the shadows inside my images, or my image, sorry, to achieve this kind of nice effect on my subject, okay. So this was what I did. It's a very, very simple process. So what I did was I came in here to adjustment, click there, left click, then selected gradient map, okay. So I'm going to get this weird look, okay. So I'm going to fix it afterwards, and then I will just right click, and then let me see, create clipping mask, okay, like so, because it is directly on top of our layer. So create clipping mask is active, click on it here, and in here click on this particular indicator, and then change its color to white like so, and then click on this indicator as well. This is for the highlights, this is for the shadows, and then for the shadows change the color to black because it's for the shadows, okay, and shadows are darker naturally. So you just have to go to OK afterwards. You just go to OK here too, and then change blending mode to overlay, not overlay, just soft light. You see our image is too dark, so after we have applied this, it is going to make it even darker. So that is where shadows and highlight comes in. Okay, good. So for the shadows and highlight, you just have to go to image. With the image selected, you just have to go to image, adjustment, and you have your shadows and highlights like so. Okay, so 35, 50, 30, okay, and then when it comes to the highlight, I have 50, 30. So again, you can take screenshots, okay, so that you can follow along with me. You can use a different image to achieve the same result, but you just have to make sure that if your image is darker, okay, you know the adjustments you are going to use, and then if your images are not dark, or if the image you're using is not dark, you know the adjustment. Okay, good. So I have something like this, and because she is too dark, I have to create a duplicate of the shadows and adjustments. So with the image still selected, I just have to go to image adjustment, and I have shadows and highlights like so. You see that? Very good. So you see the effect is in. Okay, we didn't have to do much, the effect is in. So I did some few things here to make it look more okay, or let's say more kind of okay to the eye, kind of appealing to the eye. So what I did was when I was in here, what I did was I just select this and press Ctrl G or Command G on Mac, add the layer mask like so by left clicking on the layer mask icon with the group selected, with the group layer selected. B for the brush to reduce the size of the brush like so, and kind of, you see, with the black with a black foreground color, just start applying like so. Okay, just start applying like so. You get it? Let's see if you are there. Yes, something like that. Okay, something like that. And I kind of didn't even do much to that. So let me just quickly delete layer mask, and then let me see. Kind of didn't do that much to that. Okay. So just select it, Command T. Okay, like so, Command T like so, and you just have to make sure that everything is intact. Okay, all right. So like this, I think what I did was I see in here I have inner glue. So inner glue was somewhere around. Okay. So what I did was in here I kind of, let me first fix this particular issue here. So you see our subject is kind of interfering with our dates and also our title a little bit, and then the time to us. So I have to make sure that I kind of create this kind of fade in between them. So the fade is not going to be just a fade on the image itself. It's going to be a black gradient fade. Okay, so this is how I was able to achieve that. I just created a new layer like so, and then I just dragged it on top of the gradient map adjustment, because I don't want the gradient map adjustment to affect this particular fade because it is already black. Okay, very good. So I just have to change the color from white to black like so, and then G for the gradient 2, and then hold shift, left click and drag like so. Okay, to apply that particular digital fade that is going to kind of separate our musician from our foreground element. So it's as simple as that. Okay, very good. So Command T on Mac, Control T on Windows, and then hold Shift and then left click and drag upwards to distort the fade. Okay, change the fill to somewhere around 66%, like so. Let me see if I am on track. Yeah, a little bit. So, like so, and then I would just drag it out of the clipping mask, okay, layer, and then I'm going to change its fill to somewhere like so, okay. So you have something subtle, okay, separating our musician from our foreground elements. So afterwards, I kind of see, we have to see the main flyer on the countdown tool as well. It is one of the elements, okay, when it comes to countdown creation. So this is, I think this happens to be my main flyer. So what I'm going to do is, I don't have the original artwork, so I'm just going to load it from in here and I'm going to paste it, okay. So I'm not going to just copy and then paste. I'm just going to enter the smart object here so that it becomes more practical, okay, than just a copy and paste something, okay. So I just have to just left click here and then drag it, okay, and I'm going to import it here, okay. So it becomes very big and I converted it to a smart object as I always do, okay. And then just go to convert to a smart object, Command T on Mac, Control T on Windows, and left click and drag to scale the size of the main flyer down like so, okay. You left click and drag to your left to scale down, and you left click and drag to your right to do vice versa, that is to scale up, okay. All right, so I'm just going to scale it up like so, and I hope you are following. Good. So something like that, and then you just right click on this, our main title layer, hold Shift, right click on this, select our sub title layer. Let me see, do group 8. Let me see, Command drag, not really. So I'm just going to undo with Command Z or Control Z on Windows. Let me see. Okay, this is our sub details. So I'm just going to hold Shift, right click on the title, and I'll select the title layer as well. And Command T or Control T on Windows. Take note. So afterwards, I'm just going to left click and drag to scale down, something like this, and then register action. Okay, so you see that our flyer is currently underneath the fade layer that is separating our artist from our foreground element, that is our title, and then our sub details. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to select the flyer. I'm just going to select the flyer and then locate where it is inside the layers panel and then drag it on top of the fade layer so that it becomes more visible than it currently looks. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll through. Okay, let me just right click and let me see if I can locate it like this. 18, no, just 26, 30, no, so somewhere like 34, okay, 35, okay. So I'm just going to drag it on top. Okay, so just left click and drag it on top, and now it's out of the shadow, okay, fully visible. So just like that, you're moving close. So we have to also include the name of the musician too as well. She's called Caribbean, something like that. So I just have to make sure that I'm on top of everything, like so, on top of everything. And then T for the type 2, left click, and then reduce the font size like so. And then type Caribbean, so Minister Caribbean, something like so. And then press Ctrl A, and then in here change the font from Nexa to Hansen, something like this, and then click on it, and you have something like this. Okay, the spacing between the Caribbean and the main is too much, so you just have to close it down. Okay, so I'm just going to do that with Shift, press down, Option, and then use the left arrow key. Okay, so yours would be Shift plus Alt plus arrow key on Windows, so something like this, and Command Enter to register action, something like, yeah. Okay, Command T, and then reposition it like so. Left click and drag. Okay, something like this. V for the move to, and then use arrow keys to reposition. Okay, so I created something here. Okay, mini string. Okay, mini string. So this was what I did. I kind of created a new layer first. U for the rectangle to change the fill from black fill to a cancelled fill, and I would click here, then reactivate the stroke. I'm going to give it a white stroke. Pixel is on 1, and then hold Shift, left click, release Shift to distort, and then drag like so, release, and then we have it. Zoom in with Control plus, okay, and use the hand tool to kind of move around the artwork, to dolly in and then to pan around. Okay, press create a new layer, T for the type to, left click, and then type mini string, Command A like so, and reduce the size, something like this, and change the name from Hansen to Nexa, and something like this, and you kind of increase the kerning. Okay, all right, so just like this, Command T, and reduce the font size like so, and kind of reposition it here like so. Okay, select the rectangle layer, Command T, Control T on Windows, and then reduce the size. Okay, like so. Okay, press P for the pen to zoom in with Option and space. Okay, and just left click to introduce a point, hold Shift, and then use Shift plus the arrow key on your right hand side to kind of, okay, to move it, and hold hold Option on Mac, Alt on Windows, and left click on this point to make, okay, to do away with all those curves, and then replace them with sharp edges. So something like this. V for the move to, Command 0 or Control 0 on Windows to fit the work, and we have something like this. So what I did afterwards was I kind of first selected our elements. So this, hold Shift, right click, select title, right click, select this, Command T, there's something that was not supposed to be selected got selected. So select this first, layer 35, hold Shift, right click, select title, Shift, right click, select 4 p.m. Command T or Control T on Windows, and reduce the size like so. Okay, and push them upwards. Okay, and afterwards I kind of selected the name, Shift, left click on the first one to select the range. Okay, good, and kind of reposition it like so. Okay, very good. So I selected the name of the minister, created a new layer, Command Option G or Control or G on Mac to clip mask the image. Okay, all right. B for the brush to hold, Option on Mac or Alt on Windows to introduce the eyedropper to and sample a color. So I'm going to sample this color, and then I'm going to use the soft round brush, and I'm going to apply this like so. Okay, and I'm going to reduce the fill a little bit, okay, to something like this, and then selected my mini string, hold Command or Control on Windows, click on it to select it as well, and then reposition it like so. Okay, very good. So something like this, and yes, okay, something like that. 007. Yes, so just come in here, select our subjects in here, Command T, and try to increase her size a bit. Okay, I don't like this one here, so let me kind of space, okay, the 07. So just Command Enter or Control Enter, click here, Shift Option, okay, or Shift Alt on Windows and space it a bit, and Command Enter or Control Enter and then reposition like so. Okay, yeah, so this is it. Okay, this is it. Very, very simple, and I'm wondering why. Yeah, totally. Okay, so like this. Okay, so this is how I was able to achieve this particular then let me reduce the size of the logo as well, and then let me reposition it like so. Okay, shift right click on this edition, shift right click over, Command T, Control T on Windows, scale it up like so, and that was it. Okay, very simple, very, very simple artwork. Command T, okay, Command G to create a duplicate of what we have in the background, Command T, and do the size a little bit. Okay, so yeah, just like this, just like that, very, very simple. I was able to create this like so. Okay, I'm wondering why this is okay, so I have now figured it out. So what I did was I kind of selected this only, Command X, and I reposition like so. Okay, Command J or Control J on Windows, and then the click and drag, hold Shift to constrain the transform. Hold Shift to constrain the transform on the straight line to get you to somewhere like so, and then kind of, okay, get what I kind of achieved. So afterwards, I just clicked on there and then Command V to paste the 0, and then in here I kind of cleared the layer style. Then it was still an overlay like so. Then I moved it here. Okay, yes, so this was how I was able to achieve that. Okay, this is how. So one of them has a glow effect, the other does not. Okay, just as you can see. Okay, like so, like so, like so. So when you are done, you sharpen it. Okay, so Control Shift Alt E, so Command Shift Option E on Mac, and filter, sharpen, and on sharp mask 28 for a value, and then that's it. Very simple. So thank you guys for sticking around. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more of tutorials like this. So boy Inferno doing the presentation. See you next time. Peace out.